This is Dying Your Way.
Welcome everyone to the Dying Your Way podcast. I'm Claire O'Berry and I am your host. I am trying to get through sort of a chronological pattern of what a typical end-of-life patient would look at from the time of diagnosis to the end of life and the grief and bereavement stage. So today, I want to focus on something that is just foundational to everything that you're going to be thinking about and looking at. And so this is for patients, it's for caregivers, it's for family members, and it's for early planners as well. To consider these things well in advance before you need it. So today we're going to focus on building a team of people that are there to support you on your end-of-life journey. So wherever you are in this stage, I just want you to think about the people around you and think about the professionals around you. Think about your circumstances and how you can make the most, not only for yourself, but for the people that are going to be supporting you. And the clearer you are, the better your experience will be and the better their experience will be as well. So why is it important to build a team? I mean, that's sort of a business term, actually. And I went to business school, so I know how important a good, diverse team is. But it's especially important when you think along those lines at the end of life, because you need people with a diverse set of skills around you. Now, historically, that hasn't necessarily been the case because we were pretty much doing it at home, surrounded by family members, surrounded by community. Maybe a doctor would come up in the horse and buggy, but you were really learning to do this on your own, on the fly, and really dependent on a close family unit. Sadly, we don't have that kind of connection the way we used to in those days. So we've outsourced a lot of the things that need to happen at the end of life to the medical community, their professionals, and to the funeral community and to their professionals. And I'm not taking anything away from either of those communities. They are vitally important today. And but I'm really hoping that after we finish this discussion, you'll see how important it is for you to take responsibility and to own your situation and to put yourself as the team leader, as the patient. You are the one that wants to be in charge for as long as possible. So yes, it takes a village to die well. And whether that was 200 years ago or today in the 21st century, it's very important to have a support team around you. And you want that team to be well aware about what your goals of care are and what your inherent values are, so they can better support you because they are so clear about what their role is on the team. And you've clearly communicated what your end-of-life wishes are, and you trust them enough that they will honor those wishes. So think about big moments in your life, times where marriages, birth of a child, all the graduation, all significant life events. If you look behind the scenes, there were people that were supporting you. You didn't get there on your own. You had good teachers, good mentors, a great OBGYN. You had your mom that came to take care of you after your childbirth. I mean, you just weren't able to do it all by yourself. And certainly at the end of life, when you are losing the ability to have the capacity to communicate and take care of yourself, you really need an excellent support team around you. So don't think of this as like either or, it's yes and. The personal choices that you are making are going to be done in a way that's reclaiming what typically was, we're told what to do and we just do it. And we want to avoid that if possible at the end of life. So let's identify these team roles that aren't all inclusive. Different people and their circumstances are going to have different team members around them, but these are the kind of roles that I'm talking about. So number one, you're the patient, you're the team leader, you're in charge. Okay. And I often say the second most important role that wants to be identified is the medical power of attorney. Now, this is the person that when you no longer have capacity to make medical decisions for yourself, they are predetermined and they have the paperwork with them and they know exactly what your end of care wishes are. Another important role in that team is the doctor, and it may be several doctors. You may start out with a GP. You may end up with an oncologist, and you may, at the end, just have your palliative care doctor. There is a doctor, a clinician that oversees all of the other clinicians that are supporting you. So having a great doctor makes a lot of difference, and being able to choose them prior to needing them just makes it that much better. So patient, medical power of attorney, the doctor. Power of attorney. Often that's, somebody that's a family member. Hopefully they have some knowledge of the fiduciary responsibilities that go with that role. And they are trusted. They don't necessarily have to be nearby, but if you need to do banking or you need to do things like that, you want to have a power of attorney that has the skills and ability and the trustworthiness to take care of any financial matters that you may have. After that would be the executrix. I was the executor, if you're a male. And they are the person that after a body is deceased, their role steps in and they become the one that is really obligated to fulfill the final wishes that you put in your will. We'll be talking about paperwork more later, but I just want you to understand what that role is. The power of attorney, when you no longer have capacity, it's like the medical power of attorney, when you no longer have capacity to pay your own bills, to do your own banking, to buy, trade, stocks, whatever, that power of attorney is working on your behalf while you're alive. As soon as someone passes away, it is the executor or the executrix that takes on those kind of responsibilities. Next role, which is often the spouse. It could be a adult child. It could be, just depending on the case, it's usually a close family member that is the primary caregiver. And I just want to spend a minute talking about that role and how challenging it is. It requires a lot of love and heart and stamina. And you want a primary caregiver that knows how to take care of themselves. I think I mentioned before, I was mother's caregiver and in an Alzheimer's group read on the back of the brochure that 65% of the caregivers, primary caregivers, die before the person they are caring for. I got that statistic in 2007 or 8, so I don't know if that statistic, how accurate that is now. It could even be a higher number, but it just shows the importance of being able to balance as a caregiver your life with supporting the person that you love, that you're caring for. They need support, they need respite, and so find someone balanced enough, hopefully, that has that kind of appreciation to take care of themselves so they can better take care of you. And hopefully there are other friends or family members that can also step forward. I want to say an end-of-life doula, which is what I do. Now, that is becoming more mainstream, just like people would develop a birth plan, and have a midwife or a doula for a birth. The same is needed at the end of life. A doula will help you create your end of life plan. They will be a third party, hopefully going in very unbiased and being able to see the variables of the situation, see where you are in your journey and the transitions, and anticipate those transitions and support putting what needs to be in place. A palliative care provider. I'll probably say this more than once, but you can get palliative care while you're still in the curative stage, and most people don't realize that. So if you have a good palliative care provider before you're in a terminal condition, there's just a seamless transition going into hospice care. So curative treatments, palliative care with curative treatments, and then just palliative care, which is a team approach that hospice is known for and so wonderful at, to support people at the end of life. And then the hospice provider, again, I just explained briefly what the difference in that is. There are a lot of myths about hospice that we'll spend some more time on, perhaps, but biggest awareness I have as an end-of-life doula is that people wait far too long to call for hospice. And they go through a lot of medical procedures, hospitalizations, symptoms that aren't managed well because they are in denial and they don't want to say, or they're not ready to stop curative treatments yet. But if you really are informed and think this through, statistically, when people go to hospice early, they live longer. And the reason they live longer is because of the excellent palliative support that they're getting. So that's something to consider. And another team member that you would want to consider is your clergy or celebrant. And this is someone that you might be relying for spiritual support all along your journey, but having that kind of relationship is wonderful because, at your funeral, memorial, or whatever, they know you. They know what your values are and they know who you are. So if that's a possibility, think about it beforehand because, they could just be a really close friend that's standing up and being the celebrant. But what a difference it makes when they actually know you. Like I say, every situation is going to be different. I would say in my father's circumstance, before I went back to Texas to take care of him, he had a housekeeper that was amazing and cooking meals for him and, just setting him up to do independent while she wasn't there. And so she would have definitely be considered as part of his team. He also had an excellent estate attorney that I relied on heavily, and an accountant and a bookkeeper who I, used as support. So professionals in your circle might also be someone that are close enough to the situation that you want to share what your plans are, particularly if you're putting together paperwork and things. If you have an estate attorney, you would want them to be aligned with and know what your end of life wishes are. So as I went through these roles, I very, very briefly described the responsibilities for each one of those roles. And, let's see, what's the next thing we're going to talk about here? We talked about choosing people you trust and who live nearby you if possible. Now, digitally now, maybe, whoever your power of attorney doesn't need to live nearby you. And if you have several children or some adult children and you want to divide the labor, which if possible, I would really recommend, one of the, a son in Virginia and a daughter in Florida, and, they might be able to step into some of these roles in a way that before maybe wasn't so easy. But certainly your personal caregiver has got to be nearby. And, the end of life doula, I work with everybody exclusively online, except for the work that I do here locally, but everybody is online. So don't limit it to being just people that are nearby. And we'll be talking about this more, but you'll be sharing copies with all of these team members, the paperwork they need to be able to do their job, and you'll go over that with them. And I love to say that when you're trying to get a point across, sometimes you have to tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And then maybe it sinks in that these really are your end of life wishes that you want them to respect. So look at your situation, kind of see what already is in place, and then identify where the gaps are and start doing your research to fill those gaps. And this might be a good way to delegate. We talked about that earlier, delegate to other family members or friends or loved ones to help you search and research maybe different hospices and get reviews on them, or do research to find a palliative care doctor. Just fun fact, it was like 2007 or something. I Googled like palliative care doctors in Dallas area. And I think 10 came up, 10, and a huge metroplex just really spread out. And now you could do that same Google search and just find palliative care doctors everywhere. So do your research and interview people. And if the clearer you are about what you want, you can, communicate that and see if they are on board to support what you want. And at the end of the Dying Your Way training, we have completed an informed end of life plan. And you'll want to share this plan with everybody that is on your team. So everybody's on the same page. You'd be surprised, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but you'd be surprised how many people, once the patient has lost capacity, they're not on the same page. But if they have their paperwork in place, that's almost never the case. So just remember that you are the captain of your own ship. You are the captain of your end-of-life journey. And a loving, well-chosen team is going to do more to support you at the end of life. And just make that final transition peaceful, no chaos, nothing but love. And we'll support not only you, the patient, but the people around you will be able to be part of a really sacred experience because of the planning and effort that you put into it beforehand. It's an act of love, it's an act of intention, and it's a real active, deep connection, which until you go through it, it's just hard to explain, but definitely there. So I hope this has been helpful. Just such a broad brushstrokes of the importance of building a team. But if you want more detailed information, I highly recommend that people go to the Dying Your Way website. There's a training tab, and you can just sort of explore what that training is about. But it'll really help you get into the detail of what you need to know. And you can always contact me on info@dyingyourway.com. And I can't promise a quick response, but I can promise that I will respond and hopefully guide you in the right direction. So I hope that was good for you. I just really appreciate you being here. And if you know someone that could benefit from hearing this particular lesson, please share it and like us and subscribe. It's free. And we're just getting the word out about death literacy and how important that is at the end of life. So thanks so much. Love to you all, and take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Dying Your Way. If it's inspired you, then please spread the word. Leave a rating and review so others can find out about us. To learn more, connect with us on Facebook or our website at dyingyourway.com. A special thank you for the artist Mel Dobra for letting us use her song, Smoke and Flame, as the soundtrack of our show. I invite you to return, hear each episode, and be part of the conversation on death literacy. I am Claire O'Berry, and this is Dying Your Way.